Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, little quick update on the Toshiba T1000 laptop, and I'm having some fun, I'm having some problems. The good news is that the battery that I rebuilt is fine, that's working absolutely fine by the look of it. It charged, basically what I did is, I couldn't get it to charge in the laptop at first. So what I did is I connected it up to my my iMac B6 here, and this has the facility that you can cycle battery. Basically, you can charge and discharge a pack of cells a number of times, and basically it's like a refurbishing of the cells. And because them batteries had sat for some time, I banged it on there with a charge discharge cycle and left it on overnight. And after I'd done that, the battery basically it's come up like new. They are partially used old drill batteries that I've basically rebuilt it out of. And it's showing a good voltage now. With the computer connected up, it is actually showing a charge voltage. It charges around the 6.5 volts mark. And I can actually connect it all up, and I can get the battery to charge in the laptop, but unfortunately I can't get the laptop to do anything else. Basically, I've got it connected up now. As you can see, I've got it all built back into the actual case, and I have cleaned the case. I have made it look quite presentable, put everything back together, and I put the rebuilt battery pack in, and if we switch on, we're getting exactly what we was getting last time. We get a green light on for a brief second, then it powers down. The good news though is, if I actually disconnect the power from the laptop and I switch on, as you can see, we get exactly the same. We get the power light coming on, going green, and then shutting off again. So the battery pack is working, the battery pack is actually powering the laptop. And I say, even with the switch off, and I presume this is how it should be, it trickle charges the battery. It basically just keeps the battery in a charged state. Then when you're meant to switch on, obviously it powers the laptop and maintains the battery's charge, but it's not powering on, basically. And unfortunately, what I have also tried is I removed the battery pack again, and if you remember how we were powering it, we were basically feeding 5 volts into that connector there as a substitute for the battery pack, and I've just tried that and it's doing exactly the same still. You get the power light come on for a second, it then powers back off. And what I did do is I connected my meter up to one of the 74 series logic ICs, and for that second when the green light powers up, you do get your 5 volts up there. So it's as though it's getting its 5 volts and then it's shutting down again. Like I said, that's even with just feeding 5 volts into that connector there. And I'm kind of wondering whether it is something in this DC to DC converter which is causing us the issue. I am kind of thinking whether I could, if I can't get it working, whether I am going to basically just do away with the DC to DC converter and just basically run this thing off 5 volts. I think I can still get it to work like that. I really wanted to get this thing to work as it worked in 1987 when it was built, and run on a proper old-fashioned NiCad pack, and you know, have a few hours portable use out of it. But excuse me, I don't know. I'm sure the issue is somewhere in this DC to DC converter here. As you remember, we've changed these capacitors. I had a nightmare job getting them old caps out. I had to basically drill the legs out because of the electrolyte leakage on the board. Now I've cleaned the board up, and I can't see any actual corrosion damage on the board. I think we caught it in time. The only thing I can possibly think at the moment is that one of them capacitors that I changed, that one, should be a 160 UF capacitor, and I didn't have any in stock, and I actually used a 220. Before I condemn it completely, I am actually going to get. I've ordered a few. I've ordered a pack of 10 off eBay, and I will change that for a 160, just in case that's what's causing the issue. I wouldn't expect an electrolytic like that to be used in like a timing issue, to be totally honest, but it could be something like that, and it could be to do with timing or a specific purpose it's doing, exactly why they picked 160 UF over 220. I mean, the other two caps, that one and that one, were 220, and I've just put two direct substitutes in there. That one was a 470. It's a slightly larger cap because it's a slightly higher voltage rating, but it is the right value. It's only that one there. Like I said, I didn't have a 160 in stock, so I thought I'll try a 220. I didn't think it would cause an issue. It might not be the problem, but just to rule it out, like I said, I will swap that as soon as it arrives. I will swap that out for a I will swap that out for a 160 rather than the 220 that's in there. If that doesn't fix it, I don't know, to be honest. It's horrible. It really is horrible working on this thing. It's so surface mount, especially with all the little transistors underneath this part. This is why this part of the board was so tricky to work on, because it's just one massive surface mount components on the underside of the board. So to get to the legs to unsolder any of these through hole components, you risk damaging one of the transistors or one of the resistors or capacitors that are under there. I mean, I was super careful as I was doing it, but I haven't even been over it with a magnifying glass. I might even have to dig my microscope out, pull it all apart again, and literally go over that bit of the board on the bottom with a microscope and see if I have, you know, caught a transistor, shorted a couple of pads or something. I don't think I have. I have inspected it, like I say, with a magnifying glass really carefully, and I can't see any damage that I've done at all. I don't think I've done any damage when I drilled through the old legs to replace the capacitors, because I literally did drill right through the old leg rather than just through the solder next to it. You know, I actually did manage to get it, apart from that one actually, where I did kind of like slide slightly down the side of the leg, but there was nothing in that area around there. It was just a ground plane on that side and one connection to it on that side. There's a potential that there's multi-layer and I could have damaged something there, but I don't think I have. I really honestly don't think I've done any damage with that. So it could, like I said, until I've changed that cap, I'm not going to know. If that doesn't work, then I'm possibly wondering whether I can just do away with a lot of this DC to DC stuff here and just feed it 5 volts. Because I mean, the disk drive only needs 5 volts. The rest of the logic on here only needs 5 volts. So we could possibly get away with doing that. I mean, and then I suppose even if we did that, we could also fit perhaps some 18650s and little small DC to DC converter board to boost that up to our 5 volts and still have it as a portable computer, just with a modern power supply in it. That's another possibility I've been thinking of. But I can't really do anything now until them 160 UF capacitors arrive, so I thought I'd just give you a quick little update on what's happening with this thing. So if anyone has any suggestions or thoughts, please leave them in my comments, because like I said, I'm definitely open to suggestions on this one, because I really want to get this computer into a nice working order. So I've even, and it's not often that I do a lot of cleaning on stuff of my own, but I've even cleaned the case, and the case has come up. So I've got a little bit of yellowing on it, but I'm not worried about that. The actual muck and grime's all come off it, and it's actually come up really quite nice. So I'm a little bit bummed out about that at the moment. Like I said, after the success of actually getting that battery pack, and it's decent, you know, the discharge on it, it's a good pack. After getting the success of actually getting that all rebuilt up and working, to have the computer now not even booting, where at least before we started with that, we could at least power it off our 5 volts, and it always makes you think, have I done the right thing trying to get the charging circuit and all that working on it again, when I did have the computer working, feeding 5 volts in. I could have just done something, you know, on that line and left it at that. But I mean, it's one of them things that you do, that, unfortunately. I don't think it's going to matter. We'll see if we get anything flashing on the screen when I just quickly plug this in now. But I don't think so. So I think we're going to have to... We'll see if changing that, I don't want to put this together too much actually, because it's a bit of a pain to get apart again, but I don't think we're going to get anything flashing on screen. I'll just see if we get any sign of life on the screen with the screen connect. Oh, well, we did actually. What? Hello? You did hear that then, didn't you? It's working. Okay. This, I don't believe this. Can you see this? So I was saying, oh, I've not had this bloody thing working, and now I don't know if I'm having to hold this. Let me see if I can move the camera around perhaps a little bit so you can. But look, it's just started working again. Let's press enter. I think I'm going to have to get some setup discs or something for this, because I think I've lost a lot of the settings with having this thing all in pieces. But no, that's working. I don't believe this. Yeah, that's working again. So why is it working? And the charge lights come on. It's turned red, which means I think it's charging the battery. How weird is that? So this video I was going to put up as a bit of a fail. Oh dear, you know, it's not going to be it's going to be some time before it starts working again. I think we can yeah, it's working. That's bizarre. That really is bizarre. I've been fiddling about with it for the last couple of days, trying to and ah and wonder what the actual issue was. Why wasn't it working after we changed them components? And then let me just put a disc in. Let's see if it'll read a disc. I think we said it was B drive, weren't it? That it decided it wanted to be. Oh no. Yeah. I'm just gonna. And it's gone off. Yeah, it tried to load the disc. Oh, that would be because we're actually running it off the battery power, and the battery's not probably fully charged yet. Let's have a look now. I've just plugged it into hard power. So yeah, so the red light means that the red light's a battery warning light to say the battery's nearly flat. But wow, it works. I think we actually have a success. In fact, I'm going to leave the video here for now, and I'm going to make a follow-up video when I've actually got this thing. In fact, we might even do a video on just having a look at the keyboard, because it does have a couple of issues on some of the keys. But I'm going to put this video out as a quick little update, as a success story, because we've actually seemed to have it working again. That's really bizarre that it's not been working for the last few days. I've been scratching my head and pulling my hair out over it. I started making the video and bang. And all I did, the only difference is I've plugged the screen in. How bizarre, because we had it working before without a screen connected. Anyway, I've got to go now, because I've just noticed I've only got about 30 seconds left before I run out on this SD card. So I will say thanks for watching for that little update, and goodbye.